Hello, ladies, I'm live. Good evening to everyone. I'm just going to give a little bit of time for more persons to come online. If you are online and you can hear me and the volume is good, can you drop a lovely comment for me this evening? We have so much to catch up on. If you can hear me and the volume is great, can you just drop a message saying, yes, the volume is great, I can hear you. Okay, so that we can get started today. I have a lot to talk to you about today, so just getting some things ready for you. It's going to be powerful, power packed, and you have time to send the video to your friends. You can share it as well when we're finished. I'm just giving some more time for more ladies to come online. Yes. So just getting some. So if you can hear me, can you drop a comment? Just give more time for more people to come online so we can get started. Just waiting for more women to join in. Yes, and we can get started. Just waiting for more women to join in. Please, if you are watching, can you let me know if you can hear me clearly, if the sound is all right? I've been having some issues with the software, so I just want to make sure. Can you just drop a comment, please? If you can hear me. Just say hello, hi, it's clear, or something. Just drop a comment, please. Hope you've had a good day. I know some more persons who want to watch after the event is over. Well, I'm doing this in this group, not the general Facebook one, so that it can be just for those who are in the group, but you are free to share this video with your friends. Can you hear me, ladies? Can you hear me? If it's clear, can you let me know that you can hear me, please? I don't know. Just drop a comment or something. If you are seeing me and I'm talking to you and it's clear, just drop a comment and say, yes, I can hear you, please. So that I know that I'm not talking to just myself. To be honest, if you're having a communication with someone, you always want to get feedback. It's very good to get feedback. I just don't want to come online and then just talk and I'm talking to myself. I mean, let's interact, yeah. All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you for dropping a comment. Thanks. All right, so I'm just gonna get started anyway. I can't wait forever. So, but those who come online later can watch the video, can share with their friends and all. It will also be available on YouTube, and I'll try and see if I can get it onto Instagram as well. So those who want to share can do so. So I'll just get started. I wrote a couple of things I want to say. It's like 2 pages long, and so but don't worry. I'm just gonna read the bullet points I've written down, and then we'll just go through that. But um, hi everyone. My name is Dr. Namnoas. I am the founder of this group, the Complete Women Global, and the purpose of the group is to give women an opportunity to get mentored by other women who have gone ahead of them, and also give women the opportunity to access mentorship. The whole process is aimed at simplifying success. A lot of women want to achieve their goals, but they don't know how to do so. And one of the things that affect women, especially single ladies, is choosing their partner. And I always say that life is not easy generally for a woman as much as it is for a man. I'm not saying men don't get it hard, but then women is a different ballgame entirely. And who you have as a partner in your life will affect your success, will affect your ability to even succeed, to start at all in life. And that's what I want to address this evening. Okay, so I'll just talk about some key aspects that you need to put your mind on, focus, lay emphasis on some key areas. And one of the first is when choosing a partner, okay, people are sending requests to join the page, which is good. So when choosing a partner, you have to focus on the individual and not necessarily the family per se. You have to focus on the individual, not necessarily the family. The family you would focus on, that's another key aspect. But the first most important thing is to focus on the individual. The reason why I said this, a lot of women want to get married and they say, oh, he's a family rich, is he from a big, good background? Do they have money? And then they get all carried away by maybe the wedding preparation and how much money the family is going to spend, and they say, well, I don't want to bring in, I don't want to contribute anything, or my family doesn't have the appropriate funds to afford the wedding, so I need to look for a guy that has money. That should not necessarily be your focus. There's a key role, there's an important role that plays in making your choice, but then it should not be your focus. You should focus on the individual, because there are people who's gone to get married to a family that is rich, and then you have to understand that does not really impact the individual. What I mean is, for example, I'm from a home where we have the mentality that everyone needs to work hard, and we grew up seeing our mom really hustle and work hard, and that really impacted our lives, such that everyone in my family owns a business or two. No one is actually a liability or one person on someone else. So for someone who is from a family who is wealthy, your focus should really be looking at what impact does that family have on that particular guy. So say for example, the guy's father owns a company. What role does the boy play or that man play in that company? Does he have a position? Maybe is he the MD? Is he the accountant? Or is he just living off his father's money? If you meet a guy that is from a rich home and is living off the parents' money, you know that right there, the sign is that that person is not responsible. That person has been spoiled. Or you have people who work in their father's company, who they are from a rich home, and they just go on to now generate ideas and strategies to expand the family business. Such a person, you know that even if he gets caught off from his family funds, one way or the other is going to get back on his feet, and he's really going to push for himself. So as a woman, you want to focus on the individual and not necessarily the family. Now, that does not mean that the family does not play a key role in the decision making, which I'm going to talk about next, which is that the family has an impact on the belief system. The family has an impact on the belief system and the value. Okay, so family form the very foundation of our beliefs. So if maybe he's from a family where they go to dance in the river, or they make sacrifices to some gods, and they do it consistently every year, you should know that something like that is not something he can break away from, just freely. The man is the head of the home, and no matter how much money a woman has, you must have a leader in the home. And in the right sense, a woman may not necessarily be the leader of the home, calling the shots, making the decision, even though we have high level of influence in the decision making in the family. But then you're looking at the impact of the family on the person's value. So if the boy or the man you want to get married to is from a polygamous home, you know that he will have some tendencies of flirting, cheating, and all that, because that's something that he's seen over time. It's more like a rub off, really. So what sort of values do the family have? What do they practice in their home currently? That's what you should be looking at when it comes to family. But in terms of, decision making, choice, where the person is going, his future, you have to consider the individual. Okay. Another aspect is that, a family may be rich, a man's family may have money, but it takes a lot of consistency and cash flow to maintain wealth. So if the person's family has money, what is that person contributing to ensure that that wealth comes in consistently? I had someone who called me one time. We had a discussion, and she was saying to me, "Oh, I want to travel out of the country, and I'm literally absconding from my home. I'm traveling with my daughter abroad, but I'm not going to take my husband with me." I'm like, "Why are you not taking your husband with you?" And she's like, "I don't even want him to know that I'm even making this plan." So people get to the situation when it's like a dead end, and you see things in marriages that no one told you about. You did not expect that to turn out. It's not all bed of roses. People always say that, but you need to understand the depth of that, statement, because it's very, very serious. And this lady wanted to abscond with her daughter abroad without the knowledge of the husband. I said, "Why?" Well, she said, "I married him when he had, the family had everything, going there from a rich home. And I felt like, I was making the right decision. But only to get married to the guy, he's not pushy for his future. He just sits down there. We are feeding off the father. And like, this is not what I expected." You get me? So she was carried away by the father. He's from a rich home. So imagine you are saying you are marrying Dangote's son. Yeah, they'll sponsor the wedding. But when they don't sponsor the wedding, what's the next phase for you and that person? What's the next, stage? What's the future going to hold for your family? If the father dies and maybe there's an issue, maybe the father is owing a debt of 1 billion to the bank and he did not tell anyone. And then when the father dies, all of a sudden the bank takes the money away. What will be the hope for your family if someone is not pushing to find a pathway for themselves? So that's why I said you cannot be carried away by the family, what they have. You have to focus on the individual. The only aspect that concerns the family is the aspect of the value, how the person is raised, the belief system in that particular home. Why? Because the spouse you choose, another key point I wrote there, is that it represents your support system. So the man you marry can either make you or break you as a woman. So it's important that you focus on the right attributes, that you choose wisely. Imagine you are like 25 now, or you're like 28, or let's say you get married at the age of 28, right? And you end up living for 70 years. If you subtract that, let's 70 minus 28, you have around 42, right? So it means that for 42 years of your life, you have someone speaking into your life, either negative or positive thing. Imagine if you're a woman that is so self-confident, and you meet a guy who, "Oh, I love confident women," and all that, but he pretends and he hides some signs, and then you are married. There are some people who can talk you down to a point that you not even feel beautiful. When we establish relationships with people, we have emotional ties, what I call emotional ties with them. And what they say impacts on negatively. So no matter if you have 100 people out there telling you, "Oh, you are beautiful, you are beautiful, you are beautiful," and then your husband says to you, "Look at you, who is deceiving you? I beg, you look like a cow." Do you know that thing will keep ringing in your brain that you look like a cow? It doesn't matter who comes to you to tell you, "Oh, you are so good, you are smashing," you will not believe. But if a man, that particular man, exalts you, even when you are wearing the most ugly clothes, and say, "My wife, oh my God, like, are you looking? I'm so lucky to have you, Jesus. How do I have this kind of wife, Jesus? Look at how you are like this. Look at how you are like that. Your body is it's so yummy. You are so this, you are so that. Your food is second to none." See, your confidence will go over the roof. It will even bust the roof and go to the sky. Why? Because that person is your support system. So if there's someone who I was having a conversation with, and she said, "I'm angry with my mom." I was like, "Why are you angry with my mom?" She said she made the wrong decision to marry my dad. I was like, "Why would you say that she made the wrong decision to marry that?" She said, "Every single time that my mom has an idea, I have seen my dad shut down the idea." He said, "For over 30 years that they've been married, my mom has been trying to establish a business. She has never been successful. Why my dad always tells her it's a wrong idea." So the mom ended up staying at home as a housewife. So she's angry with her mom. Why did her mom not fight better? Why did her mom not push? This event that has happened made this young girl detach herself from her family, because she was just so angry that her dad did that to her mom. But did she see that coming? Were these signs? Trust me, no one walks into a relationship blindly except by choice. And as women, we tend to remove our eyes from things that are important. We tend to deceive ourselves mostly. There are signs there, but you decide to accept the signs that are not there and ignore the ones that are actually showing there. So don't worry, the guy is telling you, oh, I love you, I'll take care of you. I like to do this to my women. I like my women to look like you. What is the proof that you actually do? The relationship you have in the past, how has it, how did you handle that? So how can I be sure that really you're going to allow me as a woman to express myself? So another thing I would say is that marriage is not an emotional, a place like emotional roller coaster. Getting married, the choice of getting married, it's more of a deliberate attempt. It's a deliberate decision that you have to put your mind through. So it's more like you're saying you're investing 1 billion and you're just going to throw it away because the company says, don't worry, we'll give you the best. No, you look at their track record. It's the same thing. You are going to invest 50 years of your life with someone and tie your life to somebody. In fact, they say marriage is forever and ever and ever, right? Till you die, till death do you part. Such a decision should not be taken lightly at all. There are a lot of Facebook groups of women like Finn, Young Moms Forum, Ladies Wanting, Young Moms who just had birth, different things. And when you see the comments and the posts, and people say, please pray for me, I have this issue, I have that issue, makes you wonder that, whoa, is this what marriage is about? A lot of people now end up having a scare. I read one post one time when a woman said that, okay, she's been married for a couple of years, she's had children. Now, they both work in an oil and gas, sector and the company, and the man earns twice as much as she does. But she put her money towards sponsoring her siblings abroad. Okay, let me see what you guys think about this. She ended up, sponsoring her siblings abroad. And then when she was done sponsoring them, the man said, well, if you sponsored your siblings, then you have to sponsor mine as well. And she's like, okay, I don't have a problem with supporting, but can you add to the money so that we can make sure your siblings go to school? And he's like, no, I cannot do that. Since you did your own with all of your money, you're going to do the same for my family with all of your money. Like, such a demand is unreasonable. And he said to her, if you're not going to do it, then this marriage is going to end. What would you think about such a situation? Would you say, okay, the woman should just sponsor them now? Guess what? She ended up leaving the marriage. That's a marriage of over 20-something years. They had to separate, they had to split because it was just unreasonable for him to behave that way and say, no, you have to sponsor my family. So there are a lot of decisions that people make. Yes, it may sound funny. Yes, it may sound funny, but it's very, very serious. Woman, you are so important to the creation of nations. You build nations. You have to know how important you are. You are like a catalyst that makes things work. Without you, there is nothing that's going to work. Not that you are God, but come on. The Bible says it is not good for man to be alone. That should tell you how severe, how serious your role is in a marriage, how serious your role is in nation building. The men you see that are in power today, they were given birth to by women. So you cannot play down on you. You're not just one emotional element or one antique that's been added to the shelf or one expensive wristwatch that somebody just buying to put on the shelf. No, you are so important. You play a vital role. It's beyond you giving birth to people. Without you, no man can have a baby. No man can. You are so important. So if you do not make the right choice, you're going to destroy nations, you're going to destroy children's destinies. So you cannot play without your role. So maybe you might be aged 28 or something, you feel like, oh, no man's going to marry me at this point, I've not seen anybody. Please don't rush. Just because the right man, you feel like the right person has not come along, don't rush. See, there are people who are single. I am not single, I am married and I'm happy in my marriage, but then I had some certain values that I had to make up a foundation. I had to set myself, which I want to go into detail, right? But as a woman, you have to know your worth. You have to know that you play a vital role in nation building and creating of destiny. So you cannot just get on a wagon or jump on a car with anybody. Imagine someone standing at the train station and like, okay, I'm going to Liverpool or I'm going to Manchester, and then someone else comes and say, I don't know where I'm going, just stand on the train. And the train is honing and some that we're about to leave. And the person jumps on the train and like, oh, where are you going? I don't know, anywhere you are going, I'll go. Even, it sounds absurd, but then that's exactly what most of us do. You just jump on any train. There are key factors you should look into deeply, but you just feel like, the guy has money, he has a job. That's not enough. He has a job, he has a good prospect. That's not enough. It's not enough. There are deep things that you should look at, which is what I'm addressing today. So let's just ride on, right? So as a woman, you have to discover your real potential. Before choosing someone, you have to know yourself. If you do not know yourself, like I said, you know where you're going, your destination, then you jump on any wagon. You just get married to anybody. And just because you get carried away on social media with what they're posting weddings. Oh, my wedding was on fleek on that. See, in marriage, you will get to a point where you are so angry that you feel like killing the person you got married to. By killing, I don't mean actually like carrying a knife to stab, but you feel like I made a decision marrying you. You are the worst person ever. In that, your mind, you just be like, I'm going to sign divorce papers. I'm done. It's the same way you feel when your brother or your sister hurts you. Maybe your sister took your makeup without telling you, or went to go and lie to mom. Mommy, it was Rose that did that. And you're like, I hate you so much. Don't ever be my sister. But after a while, you reconcile, right? That's how marriage is. But marriage is worse because you become intimate with this person. You've gone deep with this person. So there are a lot of emotional mix in the whole scenario. There are people who their husbands cheat on them, they've lost value in themselves. They can't just get away from that feeling of depression that someone I trusted so much cheated on me. How can I move on from this? That's to tell you how your spouse impacts your life, impacts your decision making. So you have to be extremely, extremely careful. So, like I said, choosing the right spouse is a deliberate decision, right? It's a deliberate decision. So I'm gonna go on and say, if you discover yourself, it will determine where you will end. It will determine the kind of spouse that you will choose. It makes your life a bit more easy when you know your destination. It makes your life a bit more easy. Okay, when you know where you are going, because it's more like it acts like a filter for you. So if someone who is a drunkard comes to you, he knows that he cannot align with you because why? He's a drunkard and you're not. So a lady who wants to and is an ambitious person, you say, okay, I have an ambition. I want to maybe work in UN. I want to be the MD of First Bank or UBA. You have no business with a man who's telling you that you have to wake up 9 a.m. You have to do school run. Not that it's bad, but by 5 p.m. you have to make sure his dinner is ready. You have to wash his clothes. You have to iron. You have to go to market. You have to cook ife salad, banga soup, pepper soup, all these things. Or he likes to eat fresh food every evening. Of course, yes, there are men like that they cannot eat poundo. You have to make sure you pound it. See, I have a friend that told me her dad eats fresh pounded yam every evening, and the mom has to pound yam every evening. So, such a woman, do you think it's possible for her to travel for a conference in UN? Or possible for her to apply for a bank, or possible for the husband to allow another person to come and assist in the home, like maybe a house help or something? Do you think it's possible? No. Such a person should marry a teacher, or a little woman that wants to be in the house as a full-time housewife. So it goes. There are so many examples that I can give you, but I'm sure that you quite get the point. So you have no business with someone who cannot align with your destiny, who cannot align with your future. I remember I dated a guy once before I met my husband, and he was a good guy. He made sure that I never lacked. He made sure I had food to eat. If I'm hungry and I do my face one kind, there's already food from fast food and all, but there was something missing. I was doing business then. I was about 19 years old. I had my first business, first shop. I was traveling, different places in Nigeria to get goods. I was really trading and doing well in my business. But every time I went to this guy and said, I would like you to, take a part of the business. Like, let me invest some money for you so that, even though you don't want people to know that it's your business, I will run it for you, but bring back the profits. And he'll be like, don't worry, babe, about this. Don't worry. I'm fine. That gave me a sign. I knew that if I pursue my ambition, of having many companies all over the world and all, this kind of person, I have zero support for him. If there's an issue, you only just come back home and say, don't worry, things will be fine. But he will not actively participate. He will not be able to defend me at the forefront. He will not be able to, if I have a problem with my chairman, but I won't be able to say, honey, can you come on board and be a chairman, or can you come on board and be a director? See, when we broke up and he was trying to get back to me, I just said, sorry, guy, you don't value what I carry, so we cannot align. It's not possible because my ambition is at the center of my heart. So if I need to have someone in my life, I need to have someone that can give me that push that I need. Do you get what I mean? When I now met my husband, I had more like a relationship interview with him. So I remember him taking me out on his birthday and I was going to ask me out. Before I even said, hey, I love you. Hey, I just said, hold on, guy. I'm not about I love you. What do you want to do with your life, please? What's your future? Where are you going? And he said, yeah, okay, I love God. I want to be a pastor. I'm like, okay, what else aside from pastor? What do you want to be? I said, okay, I'm going to pursue a career in this and that. And okay. And he said, what about you? I said, good question. This is about me. I'm going to have companies around the world. I have businesses. I love God. I'm a diehard lover of God. So if you don't love God, two of us cannot be on the same ship. Sorry. You understand? So he knew that this is the kind of person I am. Before he even came to ask me out, he knew that I was already a business person. Right? And he said, I came to you because there's something you have that I don't have. You have that push and drive for business. I really don't have that push and drive for business, but I can support you. And I said to him, okay, fine, what sort of woman are you looking for? And he said, okay, that I would love my wife to even have a PhD. Guess what? I'm doing a PhD. So as I'm doing a PhD, I have my companies. In fact, my husband refers 50% of my clients to me. right? I'm doing this live video now. Why am I able to do the live video? Because my husband supports me and is taking care of the kids, making sure they're not coming to disturb me, so I can talk to you. So imagine if it's someone that said, why are you doing live video for? And why you on Instagram? Your mates like this, and go and cook for me. Go and do the... So if I even have my separation time, before I come out from my prayers, my husband has made breakfast, he has made lunch. I can be there in the kitchen, I can be there and say, honey, can you make the pound? And we'll make it. We cook together. But it did not just happen overnight. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I had to set the values. I had to set what I wanted straight. Don't feel like your standards are too high, and then you lower your standards and say, oh, you are a key factor. I'm not saying pride should get into the whole mix, and you feel like, oh, I'm not proud. Any man that does not meet the standard should not come to me. There are areas of your life where you may compromise. Yes, I understand that, but there are some certain things you should not compromise on. And there are 3 key elements that I will discuss with you now. That I want you to focus. I have to write it so I don't go overboard and say too much that I'm not supposed to say. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, like I said to you, your man or your spouse you are choosing is your support system. Your family is your support system. They'll be there with you through thick and thin. So you have to make the right choice. So most times, like I said, there are 3 elements. Let me just go straight to the point that you need 3 key things that a man needs to have. Many people will tell you there are 100 key things, 100. You can read other books and get more insight, but then these are the 3 things I want to summarize to you. First, a man has to have the fear of God. He needs to have someone that he honors, someone that he respects, someone that he fears, someone that if he gets a call, he will tremble. If a man does not have that in his life, you know one thing is rebellious. He's going to have issues with authority. If you have issues in your marriage, nobody can talk to him. Those are the 3 key things. You need to have a pastor because spirituality cannot be undermined. It cannot be overemphasized. In fact, I want to overemphasize it. To be honest, you need to go with someone who has the fear of God in him, not just anybody. Because the fear of God is not by I'm going to church, it tells you in the way the person lives his life, what his key values are. A man that tells you, I beg, babe, let's skip church and just chill at home. When there's a problem in your home, you are going to be the only one at the prayer altar. It's not a joke. It's not, you may laugh and say, now I'm not talking about, yes, but it's true. Someone you cannot, there's a problem, you are the one going for all night praying and you just sitting down and say, oh, I'm depressed. A man is a priest. A man is to lead a home. And a priest without an anointing is what? I'll leave you to answer that one. So he needs to have the fear of God. He needs to have someone that he respects. He needs to have someone that he honors. If my husband and I have issues, I know who to call. When that call comes, it does not matter what happened in the whole situation. It doesn't matter if I am wrong or if I am right. They are always on my side. And you need that kind of support system. Does not mean I go scot-free when I do wrong, but I'm always treated like the baby. So if I do something wrong, they'll say, don't worry, I'll talk to her later, but you go. So I remember the time I had a disagreement, my husband and I reported him, and then the next thing I saw was that he came in with a gift. I was thinking he was going to come back and argue with me after we finished arguing and all that. I was thinking he was going to come back and argue with me and say, hey, you did that. So I was just there scared that I was going to come back. And next thing I just saw a gift pack. If you see the way my face was just jumping and smiling, me that was angry, I cried my eyes out. So all of a sudden, I just and hugged and like, okay, let go of the issue. You need that kind of support system. It is very, very important. You need the support system. Support system may be a father, maybe the father-in-law that, the father-in-law does not take nonsense and he tells you that if he tries anything, call me. And you've already seen that relationship between them established, so you know that there's any issue, you can report and you can start testing that. And that's the essence of having that period of courtship. Some of you run away from the period of courtship. I'm sorry for you. You feel, let's not call, let's just get married. You just meet somebody in 3 months, you're already planning wedding. What are you planning wedding for? To wed who? For a marriage of a lifetime, you need enough time to court. I call it for 1 year plus. You need enough time to know the kind of person that person is. Sometimes, ladies, I tell you, you can even deliberately set time to test the person. Yes, oh yes, oh yes. Ask some deep questions. Oh, what are your values regarding children? Oh, okay, how many kids do you like to have? Oh, okay, what kind of school do you want them to go? Okay, I was thinking. You're having a conversation with a guy. Okay, and he's telling you all about himself, and he's not asking you about what your plans are. You already know that it does not factor in the question of his life. You should already know that that's the sign. You should don't say he's feeling like, I know the guy. He didn't even ask me what I wanted to contribute. He didn't even ask me anything about myself. I think he's someone that can take care of the home. He can take care of the family. He doesn't like his wife to do anything. I'm sorry for you. The time his finances will go down, all of you in the family, including yourself, will suffer badly. A man needs to know what you contribute, because relationship is teamwork. Marriage is teamwork. It's people working together as a team. When you know that every team member is is essential and important for ensuring success in the home. 18, if there's an issue with the children and you are correcting the child, your husband is there to back you up. Your husband, like I said, is your support system. So you are supporting him and he's also supporting you. So ladies, don't think I'm going to let you off the hook. I'm coming for you. Just hold on. Let's move on to the next one. So I said fear of God must be established. Number 2, he must have someone who he respects and fears, that when he calls him, no matter how angry he is, and the person say, come and see me, he will move. Listen to me, he will listen. He needs to have that figure in his life that he fears and honors. And not just anybody that maybe person drinks in the beer parlor and I say, I'm afraid of this guy. No, he needs to have an established authority, a clean authority. Don't throw your life away for anybody. I beg you. Don't just jump on any horse. Maybe you might be engaged to someone and this person does not have the quality. Please redirect your step. Break up if you must to. It's up to you. Because the thing is, when we ignore the signs that are there, it is okay for you to ignore it, but you have to remember that when you do ignore the signs that are there, it means that you're setting up yourself for a big trouble. But then you should be aware that this is a decision that I made. So say, for example, you're dating a guy that if anything happens, you want to go out for a dinner, or you have a birthday party to plan, or your family is organizing something, and you're like, oh, honey, what do you think about this idea? Is there anything goes, anything you want to do? It's fine by me. It's fine by me. Someone like that, it's fine by me. You say holiday is fine by me. You know that such a person is not a big decision maker. Such a person cannot give you the support you need when it comes to making decisions. And as it's quiet there, that's how it will be quiet in every aspect of your life. So you not say I'm going with someone who takes control of situation. You should know that he will take control of everything. He will take control in the bedroom, take control of the finances, take control everywhere. We'll ask you where are you going to see? What's the name of the friend? So in whoever you are getting involved with, you need to be able to project your future. Okay, you need to be able to project your future and say, okay, this person is acting this way, then this person will act this way. Deliberate test, like I said, to see, okay, how does the person behave? There are some people that do not like people who are calm, who are quiet. Okay, my husband is a very, very calm person. Sometimes he's sad, sometimes he's in between the mix, and it works perfectly for me. For you, you may need someone that is again that is strong, that tells this is what we're going to do, and you're like, boom. Just know that when it's time for decision making, you need to fill an application. So you should be ready for the decision that he's going to take, right? So let's move on. Number 3, you need a man that covers you, a man that can cover you. We all have our challenges, and we all have, we come from different family backgrounds, and most times, our families are not perfect. But like I said, they impact our values. Well, some of us who along the way we've mixed up with the church and have been transformed by the word of God, our hearts have been changed, then we start redirecting our steps. So it does not mean that when the person is from a home that is polygamous, means they will turn out to be polygamous. Jesus has worked on their heart to become a better person. But yeah, there are some certain things that should not be disclosed. That should be between you and the person you want to marry. So a guy goes and now narrates everything about your family to your potential in-laws. There are times where issues will arise between you and somebody else. Your husband should be able to back you up. You had a disagreement with somebody, say, no, my wife cannot do that, but it goes back home. When he's at home, he now corrects you and say, honey, that thing you did was wrong, and you should not have done it this way. You should not, but it does not go and hang you out dry. So you need someone who can cover you, who can cover your mistake. Why the Bible even said, it said, love covereth a multitude of sins. So you get someone that will not hang you out to dry. That there's problem, you're having problem with your in-laws. Oh yeah, will just shit back and say, and she did it, so she deserves it. I read a post on Facebook one time. I don't know what you think about this. That a woman had an issue with her mother-in-law. Mother-in-law came to the house. She now slapped her. The mother-in-law now slapped her also, and they had a disagreement. And whether she slapped the mother-in-law back, I don't even know. I can't remember what exactly happened vividly, but I knew there was an exchange of slaps, right? And then the woman said that the man has refused to sleep with her for 2 months, saying that she was going to apologize to his mother before he would get intimate with her. What do you make of that kind of situation? Yes, if she did something wrong, right? But is that the best approach to handle the issue? Oh, honey, you did this wrong. It really hurts me that I spoke to my mother this way. I would really like you to speak to her for peace to reign. Or you not deprive your woman of that intimacy, that support. You're not quarreling with the woman in your own home. It just shows how childish the man is, and does not cover his wife. Does not mean the woman can go and be a mad woman on the street and then allow her to go scot-free. No, but that's where discipline comes inside the home. Most people say do not wash your dirty linens outside. right? So you need a man that can cover you. First, as a fear of God, have someone who he fears and respects authority. And number 3, cover you. So number 4, he must know his destination, where he's going. You meet a lot of guys and you ask them, I don't know if you've had this, I don't know if you've had this maybe issue before. You meet someone who you're dating, or you think that, you want to date, and then the person does not know where he wants to go, does not know what to do with his life. You cannot be in a relationship with such a person. You ask the person, okay, so what do you want to do in your life? Say, I want to hustle, I'm going to get a job. What kind of job? Okay, I want to work in a bank. What steps are you taking to ensure that you get that bank job? Do you understand? So he needs to be definite about his destination, where he is going. He needs to be sure. He needs to know. Does not mean that if somebody says I want to be a banker, then that's going to be his future, entire future. No, he can deviate, but he needs to be sure of the process. He needs to be sure of the steps. That's to tell you that person is a deep thinker. That's someone who plans ahead. That's someone who prepares. Somebody like that can take care of a home. Sometimes my husband can be so deep in thinking and like, honey, what's wrong? Are you okay? I check on him. I think it's all right with you. What's going on? He said, I'm fine. Oh, I'm just thinking of how to make more money for the family. I am hustling. I have a company I'm running. I have 2 businesses. I have a lot that I bring into the table. But then there is someone who's always thinking about, okay, what's the next step? Oh, I want my children to be able to go on vacation. Oh, I want to make money. So when he's talking like that, I come and see my heart is just bubbling and jumping with joy, because when I'm talking about billions, he's not intimidated. When I'm talking about billions, I have someone to discuss with. So the only best friend I have in life is my husband. So I don't feel let down when I'm feeling like, oh, okay, am I the only one thinking about this? No. He knows me. When I want to have a conversation, my whole idea of relaxing and having a perfect time is strategizing about how to move my company forward. So if he's saying, honey, let's spend time together, his own might be relax with me and watch a movie. My own is plan my business with me. So that's the kind of person that I am. So imagine if you're married to someone who will tell you, go and sit at the back, let my friends sit in front, go and do this. Those people others are speaking, you have serious trouble. If you are someone who is outspoken, you'll be taken for someone who is disrespectful. You will not be understood at all. You have communication problems. So ladies, you have to choose wisely. The 4th thing I'll talk about is you also have to know your destination. He needs to know where you are headed. So you're having a conversation with the guy, right? He needs to know where you're going. He needs to ask you, okay, what are your plans for yourself? What do you intend to do with your life? What are you going to contribute to this relationship? If he does not ask you, tell him and see how he reacts to it. And so what is your idea about a woman working? Should a woman work at home? Should a woman stay at home? Should a woman work at all? What do you think about it? And someone that will say, just dedicate your life to taking care of our children. Feed them morning, afternoon, evening, wash clothes, iron clothes, do all this, you don't have time for businesses. You're trying to look for, scout out time for yourself. You have so much in you, so why just throw that all away because of one person, right? So he needs to know your destination. So I'm rounding up this part. I'm going to go on to the next part where I'm talking about women, yourself, how it affects you, what you have to do before you jump on someone else's, bus to get to a destination that they are going with. But in the meantime, if you have any question or comment, can you drop them? I'll see them and then we'll proceed, right? So let me share my screen with you. I want to share my screen with you so that I can show you what I want to talk about with you today. Yes, so exactly. So now this is my book. And I'm going to go through some of the key points with you so that you know exactly what I'm talking about today. Right? So this is what affects you, ladies. This is what affects you. So I'm just going to put that on the screen so that we can go through. You can get a copy of the book later if you want to. Right? You can get a copy of the book later if you want to. Okay. So the first part I talked about, this is the totality of the Complete Woman book that is available on Amazon and also available on Okada Books. But if you want to purchase a copy directly, we'll send it straight to your inbox. You can send me a message on the WhatsApp number. That UK number is my WhatsApp direct number. If you need a copy of the book, you can send your account details and you pay and you get it book straight up. It also comes to the worksheet. There's also an audio version when I talk about each chapter and expand more. Right? Okay, so a woman for yourself, there are up to, let's say, 7 foundations that I wrote about in this book that will set you for life as a woman that you need to work on before you jump on into a relationship or decide to get married to someone. If any part of this is missing, you're going to have difficulty. It's not like your life is not going to work. It can't work, but then, just to make your life a bit easy, that's the whole concept, right? So the first thing is that you need to know your worth. And there are 3 key things that I talked about: the self-worth, reliability, and deeds. Right? You can get the book and read more about that. But if you do not know your worth, yeah, you're going to jump on any wagon. You're going to get involved in a relationship, like I said, with just anybody that suits the general criteria. So they say, does he have money? Is he from a good home? Is he from a this? Is he from that? When I was choosing to marry my husband, I had to check 3 things. I'm from a home that's polygamous. My dad is late and all that. And I didn't get to know my stepsisters on time until the day I was getting married. So it was quite shocking for me. But then I knew where I'm coming from. I would not now go and date or marry someone who is from the same situation as I am. You get what I mean? Who's, also from a polygamous home. That would be very, very unwise. I had to choose and say, okay, I need someone who is from a family that is complete. Well, I mean complete. There's father there, there's mother there. There are siblings, of course, they are settled. Who calls the shot in the marriage? Who does this? Who does that? I had to check those key things and say, so if I'm coming on board, I'm raised by a single mother. I should not go and marry a man that is also raised. Why? We'll have problems. So I had to marry someone who had a complete family. So there are things that he knows that I don't know. There are things that I know that he may not know. So we come to a compromise, we come to a balance, right? So going back to this, number 1, as a woman, you need to have your self-worth. You need to know what do you have. And developing self-worth cannot happen without self-discovery. And self-discovery cannot happen without self-exploration, which are the things that I explain in the book. Right? So as a woman, you need to explore yourself. The journey to self-discovery is not an easy one. You have many hurdles on the way. You fall, you crash, you pick yourself up again. You're like, okay, I can do this. I can tell you one thing, that I've done over 15 type of businesses. And let's say that for 13 I've failed. I invested in so many things that did not work out, but I knew that I wanted to pursue business. So I have someone who is a strong support system. That if I say, I want to start this business, he supports me. When he has money, he does. When he doesn't have, I try to make sure I raise capital one way or the other to start that business. So I have that support system. But if I did not know at a young age who I wanted to be or what I wanted to pursue, then I would have married the wrong person. And then you start struggling in marriage. So that's what self-worth comes in. I gave an example about pre-sellers, which I'm going to talk about briefly. Right? So imagine someone selling shoes. And then a man walked into the shop and say, I want to buy a loafer shoe. Right? He knew specifics of what he wanted. So that's to tell you that every man that goes out there looking for a woman, they know what they want. Right? So you too as a woman should know what you want. So this guy approached the shop. The first shop he entered into, he asked the lady, I want to buy this shoe. Do you have this shoe? The lady said, yes, I have this shoe. How much is it? She's like, what do you think? How much do you think it is, Oga? She was busy engrossed in a discussion with her friend, and she ignored completely. The man got angry and left and went to another shop. What would you say of such a person? Okay, she's serious, or she's not serious, or she's focused, or she's not focused, she's distracted. Many people will say many things, right? The man went to the next shop and entered and asked, you have the shoe? She said, yes. Okay, how much is it? And she said, it's this price. The man was like, why is this so expensive? She's like, okay, pay half the price for it. And he thought to himself, have you ever, maybe you're a business person watching, and you ever give someone a price, and the person says, don't worry, I'll come back, I'll get back to you, and they never get back to you. Why? They feel that, just like the man, if you go to another shop, you might get that particular shoe is looking for at a cheaper price. Right? You might get at a lower price. So they tend to check other places. Then the third shop he entered into asked the lady, do you have the shoe? And the lady said, yes, I have the shoe. And he said, how much is the shoe? And she told him the price. She said, before I tell you the price, let me tell you the worth of the shoe. And she said, to me from Italy, it has this, there's refundable deposit, there's this, that. You get this value, the shoe gets bad, you can always come back for a refund. And the man felt so confident in the quality that he overpaid for the shoe. It is the same time saying to you, when you don't know your self-worth and know where you want to go to in life, when different kind of men will approach you, but you will save yourself the stress if you know where you are headed, because that will help you to filter the kind of people that will come to you. There are some men that will react to this story differently. Some get on board with you, some will think that you are overzealous, some will say you are too ambitious for their liking. Please let them go. The ones that can support you throughout, they will come. I shared a video on this group. I don't know how many people watched it, of Coach Harris and boss. He did an interview, and where he was being asked how he started his company, he said he had nothing. You know, there are men who do not have anything in terms of finance, but they have great potential. Some people say, don't go with man with great potential. That's not absolutely true. When I met my husband, he had zero, he had nothing, right? And I supported him for the first few years of marriage. But now he's one taking care of all the bills, right? So, and this guy, he married a lady, his family didn't even want him to marry her. They went through a lot of things, sufferings, you know, and then they established a company to write signatory that can't sign a check in that company without a supporting signatory. She's the only one that calls the job, the shots. Her credit card is the only credit card that does not have a limit. So she can shop and do whatever she wants. That's the woman who built herself. That's the woman who knew where she was going. And she chose the right partner, even in a die-hard situation. Right? My family did not accept my husband. The first instance is most Benin people are diabolic and all that. So there are a lot of things, but I stood my ground. This is the person that I want to be with because he gives me the support that I need to establish my future. Because when you are married, your parents are not going to be there with you. You're going to be alone in that marriage. You're going to go through a crisis. There are things that will happen in your marriage you cannot tell a third party, and you have to deal with. You have to bear the emotional burden yourself. So why jump into a wagon with someone that will not give you the support that you're looking for, right? So let's move on. So I talked about self-worth. You can see there's so much information in this book, right? So I'm going to scroll quickly. In chapter 2, I talked about complete woman's industrial. So as a woman yourself, you need to have, you need to invest in yourself. Like I said, a man that you want to date needs to know what you are bringing to the table. If he's not asking you, you need to ask. You need to tell him, oh, what do you think? This is what I want to do. This is what I can contribute. Because there are times in your life as a family where things will be down financially. If you do not have a savings as a woman, a business to support your home, you're going to struggle. So imagine that my husband is taking care of all the bills and we plan to go on vacation. There was one day we were having a conversation and he wanted to make some transfers for his business and he had some dollars he needed to send and the dollars wasn't going through. And he said, babe, what can I do about the situation? I said, okay, we're about to send 4 million to the person. I said, okay, don't worry, I have 1 million. Let me just send 1 million to the person. It was after I said it that it dawned on me that, oh my God. So I actually have 1 million to transfer. And my account was not shaking. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is I felt so good with myself. But I did not get there by just sitting down and folding my hands. And sometimes I work 20. Let me not exaggerate. Sometimes I work 20 hours out of 24 hours in a day. My assistant is watching. She knows that sometimes at 12 midnight, 2 a.m., I will message you and say, are you awake? I just want to just say hi. Not that I'm disturbing you. I know your work hours. I just want to chat with someone. I'm always there. I sit to my laptop. I push. I'm thinking. I'm creating this partnership, establishing it. Because why? The more you can bring to the table as a woman, the easier it will be for your family. The easier to be for your family. But if you are so dependent on your man, you have to be ready for raining days. I always say to people, you have a work life. Right? You have a work life. There's a time in your life where you can work, and there's a time where you cannot work. I watched an experiment on Netflix that talked about an experiment done on 100 humans, right? And that experiment was done on people in America from different parts of America, different race, right? And they were trying to measure at what point in humans' life that they are more productive and more intelligent. And they discovered that it was at, between 20 and 30. So from 40 to 60, a person becomes not super productive, the brain becomes a bit dull. Then from 60, they pick up again. So imagine you trying to pick up your life at 60. What happens? Your body says, I'm weak. You cannot work as hard as you can. You want to try and pick up your life at 40, your brain is not as sharp as it ought to. So you see that you're in sort of like a dilemma. It works for different people. The experiment has not been tried or tested in Africa and all that. But then you from 20 years or even from 18, the smarter you get, the better for you. But you have to be productive as a woman. There are many things that will happen to you. You have to be able to rise up. Maybe you should go and read Proverbs as one woman and see, because part of the scriptures I shared was from that scripture in this book. Part of the scripture I shared in this book is from that scripture. Proverbs 1 talked about how the complete woman rises up at night while it is yet night and provides food for her household. As a woman, you should be able to separate yourself and go over and above for your family. Go over and above to work. When my kids are asleep, I'm with my laptop, I'm working. Any little time I can get, I snatch to invest in myself, to make sure, am I writing a book? Am I doing research? You can hardly catch me sitting down to watch movie. Anytime I want to watch a movie, I do with my family. I say, oh, movie time, and we just come together and just watch one movie, and then boom, that's it. Before you know again, it's like the next month before I watch a movie. I just feel like time is of essence. Time is of essence because time is there as constant K, but we are the ones that are moving away. We are, how do I say, fading away from time. Every day goes by, that's plus a day in your year, in how old you are. I'm not trying to put pressure on you, but I'm trying to let you know that you have to start being accountable of how you spend your time. Because if you don't start being accountable, then someone can just come to you, sit down, people will gossip from morning till night, and at the end of the day, you'll not be productive. I shared something called the alarm clock, right? And I talked about setting alarm every day, maybe a 30 minutes daily alarm. So every 30 minutes, your alarm rings and asks you, what have you achieved today? So imagine you decide to gossip on your Instagram from 8 o'clock to 6 p.m. And every 1 hour, your alarm rings and tells you, what have you achieved today? If that alarm rings 10 times, trust me, you start seeing how foolish you are being with your time. That's how it makes me feel. It makes me accountable to say, oh, how have you spent your time? Who are you talking to? Then another thing I do that you can practice is every day, how much has entered your bank account? Or every week or every month, you keep spending and spending. What are you investing your money on? Right? Is it adding value? Are you investing in a course, in mentorship, coaching, in training, in developing a skill? What are you investing that money for? Some people have boys or girlfriends that can give them heavy money. There are some girls who say, oh, I want to, or if I call Shegun, Shegun will pay for me on a trip to Dubai. You're very silly. You have someone who can give you capital to invest in something rather you are going to spoil yourself. Bible says there is time for everything. Under the sun, there is time for everything. There's a time for vacation and there's time for you to rest. There's a time for you to rest, there's a time for you to work hard. So if you have someone or people in your life that, oh, maybe you are so beautiful, they just like to dash you money, or uncles that can just dash you money. Then my mom, when she organized party, uncles and aunties will come like, oh, auntie from London, uncle from US, you will greet them. Then they call me. I know how to make this rebel meal, you know, banga soup and starch. I know how to, if I make starch for you, oh my goodness, my God, my God. Unfortunately, my husband does not use starch. So all my cooking skills from Delta are dying slowly. Yeah. So, but I know how to make it properly. So when they call me, my mom says, oh, United can make starch. When we go to London on vacation, United can make starch. By the time I make starch for the London people, oh my God, they're like, this your daughter. Hey, she's so, hey, this food, God bless you. My daughter come 500 pounds. You know what I do? That money, my mom said, let me help you keep for you. I said, no. I'm capable of keeping it for myself because by the time I ask for the money, mom says I've invested in your education. You know, me that I'm paying school fees. So I don't have money. Come and go and call police. That's what, so we will cry and cry. So I know that I'll tell her mommy, don't worry, I'll save my money myself. You know, I keep the money. Even in secondary school, I used to have a cross bag that I carry. My sister goes to Dubai, then I have a cross bag that I carry. I'll tell her, use the money I've saved and buy jewelries for me. I'll carry a cross bag secondary school, and then go about to my teacher staff room and tell them, look at this earring. I was making twice as much as I was earning. Sometimes they give me money for lunch when I go to support my mom in her shop. She gives me 200 naira, then go and buy lunch. I will buy lunch 100 naira, knowing that when I get home, I know I will still eat. So I will not deliberately make sure I go and tell her, mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy, I need lunch. The rice they are selling is 250. That I buy food 100 naira, then I save 150. Back then, I used to calculate and say if I want to make 100,000 in a month, how much do I need to save? I start saving. That is how, when I got to university, I had a shop when I was 19 because I need all these savings. Sometimes I make the wooden box that they used to make and they put holes inside and they drop money. Yes, I used to have that one. I prepared myself early for things like that. I prepared myself early. When I wanted to travel to Nigeria, that wasn't last year. I went to travel to Nigeria to establish a wedding business. I just told my husband, I'm traveling, honey, what do you think? And then booked in the time where he was on holiday. There was no issue. He allowed me to travel. Why? He's my support system. I made the right decision. So there was support. There was no argument. And I paid for my flight ticket myself. I just told you, don't worry. I don't want you to spend your money. I paid. I was able to buy. I felt happy with myself that I had that. I had a client who called me one time and said, oh, I want to study in Russia, right? But I don't have the money to study. And I said, okay, who is supporting you? So my husband, but she wanted to do a nursing program, but she wanted to do language course first. But guess what? She couldn't travel. Why? Because the husband said, I'm only going to pay, if I pay for the language course, you have to travel and support yourself, find your way, because I cannot pay for your nursing program. It made me wonder, you're willing to allow your wife to travel to a country she has never been to, right? And then you are telling her you are on your own. I was wondering what kind of relationship they had. And what sort of marriage is that? That your spouse will allow you to travel and abandon you abroad and tell you the only money I can pay is the first one. You find your way. I was wondering what kind of relationship is that, but trust me, that's the situation that many people are in. So, my dear, you have to filter your circle. Know the kind of people that you are in a relationship with. Know the kind of guys that ask the right question. Don't be afraid. Set emotion aside because marriage is deliberate. Let's ride on. Let's ride on. I talked about a lot of things, so you need to get the book and read. It's going to set you your foundation for life, right? There's so much. You can see how long that chapter is to tell you how much value is in there. So let's go on to the next chapter. Can you see? Can you see how long it is? There's so much in there. Yeah. So a complete woman has foresight. So, like I said, as a woman, you need to know where you are going. So, foresight can be applied both spiritually and physically. So, as a lady, you need to know where you are headed. You know, when it comes to foresight, okay, by in 10 years' time, I want to be this. In 5 years' time, I want my company to be this. I want to start a business. By 3 months' time, I need to have this business. It needs to be producing this. At the end of this month, I need to have that. If I ask you for the last 10 years or 5 years of your life, what have you achieved? It is a product of your decisions daily, how you spend every hour daily, what you spend your time doing, because success is not overnight. It's a product of how you spend your time and decisions you are making every single day, right? So, a woman has foresight. Prayers can help you develop foresight, which I talked about in this book. You know, being deliberate in decision making, being observant, being detailed. I talked about how to do this practically. These are the things that can help you gain foresight, because there are sometimes in marriage that your husband can become so overwhelmed with making a decision in the home that he needs that support and balance. Yeah, sometimes he will not be sure as a man about his decision. Don't think that a man is a god or just knows everything because he head of the home. Any decision you make, I'll stand by him. No, you are there as a support system. So you need to have some level of wisdom to guide your husband. Why? The Bible says something. It says that a wise woman builded her home, but a foolish one will pull it down with her hands. We bring it down, we collapse it, we shatter it. Because why? Look at it this way: a man is an engineer. He draws the plan, he brings the construction, and you lay the foundation. You help to set up the building. So if a man is bringing all the materials for the building into the home, but you as a woman that is meant to put it together, you cannot. What happens? That home can never stand. That is what the Bible is trying to say there. So as a woman, if you have foresight can come from experience, right? Experience. So your level of experience you have had in your home, seeing your mom and your dad, or maybe stories you've heard, things you've heard, research you've done, your personal experiences, prayer, all these things can help to guide you, to provide wisdom to your husband, that both of you come together and say, what's the right decision? Should we send our child to boarding school? Or you know that maybe your friend's daughter went to that particular boarding school, had this, and you rope minds together and come to a reasonable decision. What you just leave him, say, I'm praying for you, my husband, any decision you make, oh, the family will follow. Please, that's arrant nonsense. That's complete rubbish. Because you cannot put your whole weight on the man, the whole decision on the man. Imagine you have 4 children, or the man is just thinking, he'll just have a potential and die. And then the same men die before women. Please, they have a hand to play in that. Because it's a serious issue. And as a woman, having foresight, when you pray, you cover your home in prayer. So you cannot play down on having God as your first support and your foundation. It is important. Because if your husband is so down that he cannot pray, you should be able to stand in for your family and give them that support that they need. Right? So let's write on. I talked about a lot of things, what it means to have foresight, what you need to do practically. If you've not gotten this book, I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say to you. But like I said, you can get it and read every part of it. And it comes with a free session with me, 1 hour, when we talk about, you read through, you analyze yourself, you see the things that you do not have, and I tell you practically how to work on them. Right? Okay, now a complete woman is stable. That's another foundation, stability. If you do not have stability, you are an emotional person that throws tantrums everywhere, says what they like, embarrassing your family out there, then you're going to have a problem in marriage, right? There are many things that will come at you as a woman, but being resilient is part of the thing that makes you to repel those negative situations, right? So having stability is linked to being emotionally intelligent. It's not every situation that you respond to. No one is perfect, but at least if you have this knowledge, and I'm talking about, then you know how to navigate your life, what to work towards, how to direct yourself, right? So imagine if you have a quarrel, maybe an argument with a neighbor, and you're shouting, pulling cloths, doing all those things. Oh my God, you're embarrassing your entire family. Even sometimes your husband can be so tense that he responds to you in a certain way. You need to understand where he's coming from. Now, I'll just say one this key thing and then we'll move forward, right? Being emotionally intelligent, which plays a vital role in creating your stability, is being able to understand your how do I say emotions, know how to understand your emotions, control your emotions, then understand the impact of your emotion on others, then move forward to understanding the emotions of others, being able to influence their emotions and understand the impact of their emotions on you. Okay, so it's knowing you, knowing them, how to react, making excuses at some certain point for some people when they behave in a certain way. Because, for example, there was a time in my life when we needed some funds, up to about maybe 10 million or something to do something, and how my husband's face was just down. At that point in time, I was not scared and shaking and like, oh, hey, my husband is not panicking. No, I had to think, okay, my husband is feeling this way. What can I do? And I tell him, honey, don't worry, we're going to get through. I'll make this call. I'll call this person. I'll do this. And boom, boom, before you know, I didn't let the overwhelming situation to get to me. You know, I had to control my feelings. I say, no, feeling anxious or down about this issue is not going to solve it. But then how can we move forward to create a solution for this? Right? It's vice versa. So sometimes it happens to me and I'm done, but he's not thinking emotionally. He's just like, okay, how can we intelligently handle the situation? So stability is very, very vital for you as a woman. So let's write on. Let me write on. Talked about that. Emotional intelligence. I talked about the pillars of emotional intelligence. So let's talk about solution bearer. It's so simple from there. One being a solution bearer. You cannot give what you do not have. If you do not develop yourself, how can you solve problems for people? And as a woman, our key responsibility in life that most people see is nurturing, but it does not stop there. But how can you nurture someone when you don't have the elements or the resources to nurture appropriately? It's going to be very, very difficult. They're extremely difficult. So there are key things that I talked about there in this chapter that will help you to develop the how do I say the skill of problem solving. You do see that when people write their CVs most times and they say, oh, I have problem solving skill. But trust me, they just use it as a code. Not everybody can actually solve problem. But you see, I remember an event. I was working for a boss one time who had asked me for some details regarding the finance that some the branch companies had, sent to the general account and all, and I didn't know exactly what to do. I was just confused and stammering and all that, and he was so upset with me that he sent me out of his office. Later, I went to meet him. Like, why were you so upset that I know that? And he told me, you have to fellowship with your records. If you do not know these things, you're not going to get better at your job. I kept on practicing and practicing. People came to me with queries and all that, solve problems. So now my mind is programmed for problem solving. And that's the thing. When you do something over and over again, it becomes a habit and your brain embraces that habit. Then it becomes so easy that it auto sets. So when your brain sees or your mind sees a problem, it enters into auto solving problem mode. So you have to start practicing now. Maybe you're not married and you're in your family, or your siblings have issues, mommy has issues, daddy has issues. Take on and be at the forefront, be the peacemaker. Try to solve problems while you're developing yourself for what is going to come ahead. Because trust me, there is no marriage without troubles. Even the ones that are rich, that are super rich, everybody has a challenge. Don't be deceived by social media. Not everything. People do not come and announce their problems on social media. They only announce their victories, and some victories are fake victories. So don't get carried away by what you see on social media. Develop yourself to become what is solution bearer. Yeah, there's a lot of detail on there. Like I said before, by previous chapters, when I talked about women who have solved problems, women who are making waves in the society and the world, how they solve problems, to inspire your mind, to solve problems. A complete woman is respectful, kind, presentable, and honorable. This is so important. I'll just tell you a brief story. When I met my mother-in-law for the first time, mother-in-laws are very protective because my husband is the only son. He's the only son, and when a man is the only son, you know what to expect. Everybody surrounded by women, you know what to expect. The first day I went there, I dressed in a very professional way. I didn't tie and wear agbada and all that. It depends on who you are going to see them by traditional, and whoever your spouse is will tell you dress this way, right? But I dressed in a very corporate way. I felt really comfortable when I was wearing. My hair was done properly. My makeup was done in a moderate way, just like you can see. I didn't go over and above about everything. So I was very, very presentable. I knew my self-worth. So when I had a conversation with the mom, She knew that this is the daughter-in-law that I want. She was very, I could see the smile, the way she was. She was professional, she had a job. I knew the kind of home I was getting into, how to present myself respectfully, you know. And at the end of the day, my husband came back to me like, wow, my mom was very impressed with you. Trust me, when I got married, my mother-in-law is the sweetest, God bless her, she's late now, the sweetest woman I've ever met. She didn't let me do anything. She didn't let me do anything. In fact, if I go to her house, she cooks all the meals. She wakes me up from bed with breakfast in bed. Like my darling, she will cook meat everywhere. We just go to the kitchen and she'll still like, you and your husband, if I still not the meat, we will laugh and run away. She'll come and say, sit down, watch Telemundo with me. Then she'll hide and give me money when I just have baby. She don't tell your husband I gave you money, I'll keep it, and then don't tell me this is for you to spend, to take me out for shopping. Why? I established something in her heart, and that I made her joyful to see that my son marries this person, she will not have an issue. I'm not saying that every mother-in-law is going to be like that, but as a woman, if you establish your word and show that you have the potential to carry a home, to support a home, to support the pillars, I don't think there's any mother-in-law that will not want that, except they are possessed. To be honest, except they are possessed, they have something that they are looking for. But if you can present yourself as someone who will give the right support, and you know yourself, you know your value, imagine nobody will play with you. Trust me. So you have to be kind, you have to be respectable, and being respectable, I talked about respectful, is giving others the opportunity to express themselves, accepting that not only your opinion matters, but the opinions of others matters a lot. Because respecting someone is not just yourself or your husband or their family or someone who's older, but also respecting people who are less of age, including your kids that you're going to have in the future. You have to respect your children's opinion. There are many parents who have destroyed the lives of their children just by their speaking, how they speak to them and tell them, what are you saying? What do you know? I was born before you. I went to school before you. And they damage the child's self-esteem. You shouldn't do that as a woman. You need to present yourself as kind, respectable, and presentable and honorable. That when they talk about you outside, people will praise you and your husband's heart will be glad. Whenever we're having a meeting, I remember we're having a conference meeting with some, top people in our organization, and my husband was part of them, and I was privileged to be in the meeting at the time. And you're like, the moment I entered into the meeting, we had a meeting on Zoom. The moment I entered into the meeting, you're like, is that Namnoas? Hey, the doctor Namnoas, we've been seeing your impact. You'll say, no, you are very lucky to marry this woman. My God, your woman is a money mover. Like she's a table shaker, she's industrious, did this, did that. My husband's heart was so joyful, like he was feeling proud. I was asked to make a presentation in the meeting and I spoke about it. At the end of the meeting, my husband came to me like, I'm so proud of you. I'm like, what happened? Like the way you spoke. Hey, I said, nobody wish you. He was very excited that I was able to represent in the public. I was able to speak to people that had these ideas. When I'm presenting something to him, he feels really proud. You can see the smile between the joy that comes on his face. Why? Because I brought honor to him. And that is it you have to work on. That when people talk about you outside and your name is mentioned outside, your husband is praised in the midst of his, allow me to say, kinsmen. In a circle, when they mention your name, is praised. They don't mention your name and say, oh, she's the one that goes on the shopping spree. That your wife, guy, you're trying, you take her to Dubai, you take her to this, take her to I'm not fit so. But when they talk about you, they say, that your wife is not the one that just got an appointment with you and how your wife is doing things. They're not even looking forward to establishing a connection, a relationship with her. Right? So you have to be completely respectful, kind, presentable, honorable. I don't know if you have any questions for me, but you can drop the questions. But while we proceed, I'm enjoying this as much as you are, right? So I said a lot of things in the book, which you're going to really enjoy when you get the book. The book is not expensive. You just read out 500. The audio is about 2.5. So if you need that, you can send me a direct message on WhatsApp. So I talked about lastly, mapping your identity, the making of your dream self, which when you buy the book, you see. So I'm not going to expose those details and all. I'm not here to give away everything for free. Right, but the whole concept, like I said, of self-discovery is self-exploration, which I talked about more, in details in the book. When you get that, you're going to get that value. So let me do a summary so that we can end this. I don't know if you have any questions for me. You can drop it in the comment section and I will treat it immediately. But if you don't have any questions, you've been blessed. I've answered all your questions. You can drop a comment to say thank you or a suggestion, anything, whatever you want to say, you can do that. But ensure that you share this video. because a lot of persons, a lot of women will benefit from it. And it is heartbreaking to keep seeing comments on social media about women who are suffering in their marriages, right? It is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking to see women who are struggling in their relationships. There are certain things that can be avoided if the appropriate step is taken. All right, so let me just go through a summary of what I said from the beginning. Just really briefly, we talked about choosing the right spouse. That is what this whole event is about, how to choose the right spouse. And I mentioned that you should focus on the individual, not necessarily the family, when it comes to deciding, okay, to move forward with this person. What does the individual have to offer? Also, the impact of the family on the person's life is the belief system, the values, the principles that will be developed and transferred to your kids will determine, on the principles of the family where the person is from. I also talked about your spouse being your support system. So if you have a spouse that talks people down, lets people down, it's going to impact on your progress as a woman as well. Because if you have someone who negatively speaks about you, tells you you're not beautiful, doesn't believe in you, it doesn't necessarily have to even come out that harsh to you, but is a person that does not encourage you to be the best, a person that does not encourage you to take giant steps. You already know that is someone that will, keep you in a certain level. So you have to be extremely careful, because family represents your support system. Then I talked about marriage being a deliberate decision, so you should remove emotion from the whole thing, because trust me, emotion is a very tricky thing. As a woman, you say, I don't love a guy. Let him buy you Rolls Royce. Let him buy you private jet. Let him worship you, kiss your feet. Trust me, you will have a change of heart. So, what are we really talking about here? Right? So, there are more important things than feelings, because love has attributes that make love work. And in the absence of these attributes, love will die, love will suffer. So the attributes of money, the attributes you want is different from the attributes that I want, that triggers love in me. There are certain attributes that you have or you want in a man that will trigger love in you. Like I said, I was dating a guy who will make sure there's food on the table. I don't lack anything, gives money for shopping and all, but he did not give me the support I needed when it comes to me pursuing my dreams. So I was not ready to risk and compromise my life just because of every other thing he was providing, because that was not my core focus and that was not the attribute I was looking for. So attributes will differ. Okay, but like I said, there are attributes that make love work. In the absence of those attributes, love will die. So it is the attributes that you have, that you have nurtured in the relationship, that transcends into the marriage. So if the attributes that made you say yes I do becomes absent in the marriage, and you're going to file for a divorce, trust me. So you have to be extremely careful. Choosing your partner is a deliberate decision. Then also I talk about four key elements that a man must have. Like I said, there are other things you may have read somewhere, but from my perspective, this is my opinion and my advice. First, I said the man has to have the fear of God. Fear of God is not just going to church, reading Bible, but you can see in the practice, in his character, how he makes decisions. So is he saying you want to make a major decision? Is he saying we should pray first? We should seek for counsel? Or is he saying just make the decision like that? When you say let's pray together, how does he react? Does he make God the foundation of everything? Because God is an important foundation that can make a marriage work. Right. And secondly, I said a man has to have a higher authority, someone that he respects and fears, such that if there's an issue in your marriage, you can call. He goes for that person for decision making, not someone that drinks in the beer parlor or someone that hangs out with girls and do all those rubbish, because that will have an impact on his life as well. So he can be a figure in the family, can be the father-in-law that you know that, or it can be his elder brother that you know that he listens and he fears this person. But it should not be a negative influence on that. I can give time to you to come to me. We can discuss this in further details if you want, for absolutely free, no charge to you. Of course, I'm here to help, right? Then number 3, I talked about a man being able to cover you as a woman. It's important. So, because love covers a multitude of sin. If you're just joining good from the beginning and you hear everything that I had to say about that, then also the man must know his destination, where he's going. And lastly, the man must know your destination and ask you, what key value are you going to add to the relationship? And then I talked about building your foundation as a woman, which is in the book, The Totality of the Complete Woman. The book is 3.5. The audio is 2,500. If you need it, you can send a message to the number on WhatsApp, or post a comment, and also follow me on Instagram. The lot of things we're doing. We're having Evolve 2020, a business workshop and summit. Do not miss that for any reason whatsoever. There's going to be a business competition and pitch where people are going to win money. startup funds and a mentorship time with me, and the other speakers going to direct you how to set up your business practically. You're going to get support for 6 months one-on-one support to get your business off the ground and standing. So if you have someone who will participate in that, we're giving away almost 200,000. If you have someone who wants to, maybe have a business idea that does not demand so much capital, you can definitely compete for that. It's a 4-day event, so do not miss that. Share, and also share this video, please, as it needs to say, oh, thank you. Somebody needs to hear everything that I've said now. So please share this video, comment, like, spread it. Let people know about all this and let ladies benefit from this. Guys can also watch it and gain some insight from everything I've said. Yes, so that brings me to the end of it. I love you guys so much. You are in the center of my heart. Every day I'm thinking of what value can I give to the society, and that's why I'm doing all that I'm doing. Remember, the Complete Woman brand is aimed at simplifying success and making sure that women climb up the ladder easily. So I have a question. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to put this question on here. Let's read it together. Someone just says, I'm going to just give about 10-15 minutes for questions and we'll call it a day. Okay, so if you have that, just start dropping your questions. He said, is a lady being critical if a guy approaches her to create a relationship, right? But she's not really interested, hence not giving the required attention? My dear, if you're not ready, you're not ready. There's nothing about being critical. You have to be ready for a relationship. Nobody should pressure you. Maybe the guy is ready. You have to be ready to get into the relationship, like I said, because it's a deliberate decision. Don't just go and date anybody because they just said they are ready. Don't feel pressure to just jump into a relationship because the person said, well, I'm ready, but you're not ready. If the guy is a good guy, okay, if the guy is a good guy, has all the qualities and attributes, you really ask the right question. Please be extremely careful. You really ask the right question. You are satisfied with your decision, knowing that, Lord, as I walk into it, I'm ready. That moment, you need to be sure that I'm ready, do or die affair. Because when, for example, when I wanted to get married to my husband, he didn't really have anything in terms of a job or something he was doing. He didn't have necessary financial, but there was just something in me assured that this is the person that I want, and I'm ready to drink Gary with you. I'm ready to drink Gary with smoke fish with you. And the first 2 years of my marriage was not really a smooth one in terms of finances, but I knew I was really right. I had the peace, I had the joy. We could play together, we can punch each other, we can climb each other's back, I had it like when I'm with him, I'm happy. That's the kind of things you want. You are satisfied that even no matter what he does to you, you can easily forgive the person, because why? The key thing is your support system, right? The greatest, I would say, there's a greatest gift you can give to yourself as a woman is a man that allows you to be yourself. I'll say that again. The greatest gift you can give to yourself as a woman is a man that allows you to be yourself, right? So if this guy is coming to you to create a relationship, he's ready, but you're not really interested. See, as long as you're not really interested, take your time. Don't let anyone pressure you. And let me just say that when my husband came to me, I was not just, jump on board, he's the one I want. I broke up with him 10 times, 10 good times. The minute I said, I'm not ready. You don't have the loser I want. You're too this, I wanted someone who was tall, he's tall. I wanted someone who was light skinned, has body and everything. And he didn't have all of that. And I'm like, hey God, you're too skinny now. People will not see me like, as a woman, there are some things that we're a bit silly, but then there are some things that really matter. But of course, when I married him, he ate and he became, he added up the size. So a man that is skinny can be fed, trust me. So that's not really an issue, something you should look for. So like I was saying, so if you're not ready for the relationship, then don't jump on board. Nobody should pressure you. If you're not interested, don't be interested. There's another guy that approached me. He wanted to be a pilot, right? And that's something like, a pilot. He was so nice. If I sneeze, he will run around and get tissue. If I cough, he will get water. The girl was all over me, like worships me. Then I was even being rude to him at a time, but he would say, Naomi, why are you speaking to me like this? But it's okay. I understand that you are stressing. In my heart, I knew he was a good guy, but our hearts did not align. He's married now. He has a beautiful wife. They moved to South Africa. He's actually a pilot. He's someone that was hardworking, pursued his dreams. Like, he wanted to marry me so badly because he knew that if I had the kind of zeal this woman has in a relationship, my family would be billionaires. He knew. But in my heart of heart, I didn't want him. So I did not date him because I was feeling sorry. So like I said, if he's a good guy and you are here to discover yourself as a woman, don't rush into it. You can tell him, oh, and you're great, I appreciate your efforts, but I'm not really ready for a relationship at the moment. I'm still trying to discover myself. Go in detail. Don't let anybody pressure you until your heart is ready. Like I said, marriage is a deliberate decision. So when you are entering into it, you are sure that you are entering with your 2 legs, and whatever the consequence, you are ready to bear. Whatever the cross, you are ready to carry. That's the kind of heart you should be ready to have. That no matter what happens, through thick and thin, I'm here with this person, and this person feels the same way too. So if one person is feeling that way and the other person is not feeling that way, you should not jump on that train. I guess I've answered your question. If not, so you can speak to me privately later, right? I don't know if anyone has any other questions, but I love you guys, like I said. Thank you so much for coming on board. Please just try and support as much as possible what I'm doing. I know that data might be an issue for most people, but if there are lots of videos that are put on YouTube that you can benefit from, go on YouTube. If data is cheaper in the night time, go listen, learn, pick 1 or 2 things. Don't, knowledge is some knowledge, it's free. You don't have to pay for it, and YouTube is free. Go on there and learn something. We're doing lots of interviews with women who have gone ahead of us, who are successful. Pick one of them, because I'm a very critical thinker and I can drag, pull ideas from what people are saying. So sometimes, many times, I go back to my video and watch my own video. A lot of times I'll put my video playing and I'm typing like, Naomi, Rema. I jot down what I'm saying. So don't think I just teach you and I don't practice what I'm teaching, right? So everything that I've said to you, go back, play the video again, write down key things, adjust your life. You're in a relationship, things you're not asking, write down the right question. Don't be afraid, because you're about to give away 50 years, if not so 60 years of your life to somebody else. You don't want to get married and get divorced. That is not what anyone wishes for anybody. So you have to make the right decision. So like I said, if you want to get a copy of the book, send a message, or just go straight to okalabooks.com and purchase the book. If you're abroad, you can get it on Amazon. I love you guys. You guys are the best team ever. Please take good care of yourself. Have a wonderful evening. I love you and take care. Bye, ladies. Bye.